Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak, Quadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And just wanted to go into this article here. Found it, a little humorous, but pretty interesting here. Dealing with, from Zero Hedge, it says, "The joy is gone. A liberal hate fest for the holidays," and it's basically, going back to the time of the election, the actual time of like voting and so on, and up until finding out that Kamala Harris didn't win. A lot of people were pretty messed up about it, right? And more so the so-called liberals, as they call them here. So much so that there were a lot of these ridiculous trends, which kind of curious now. That whole 4B movement, I wonder what happened to that, right? I wonder what happened to the people that were so committed that they ended up divorcing their husbands, breaking up with their men, and all of that. I wonder, how committed they still are to that. But anyway, it says here, from looking forward to harassment at restaurants to the purchase of Antifa-themed Christmas gifts, some appear to be planning for a hate fest in the new year. "Quote-unquote, may Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." These words from Disney's new Snow White actress, Rachel Zegler, came shortly after half of the country, roughly 77 million Americans, voted for Donald Trump. Only a few weeks ago, Kamala Harris and her supporters were rallying the country to choose love over hate. Now, the joy is gone. 'Tis the season of liberal hate fest. So it's going to be interesting, come, what is it, January, January 5th or January 6th, whatever, inauguration day. And even just like the whole of next year, it's going to be interesting to see, some of the events that we might see taking place during that year. So as Washington prepares for the inauguration, we are seeing a return to rage. During the first Trump administration, liberal servers and restaurant owners pledged not to serve Trump officials. Now, the Washingtonian is reporting on the planned resumption of the harassment of those serving in the Trump administration. Now, get this: as we read, you'll hear some of the ideas, right, and thoughts here of certain individuals. So it says, Zach Hoffman, manager at the National Democratic Club and D.C. restaurant veteran, told the magazine that abusing conservatives was only natural and understandable. You expect the masses to just ignore RFK eating at Le Diplomate on a Sunday morning after a few mimosas and not throw a drink in his face? One bartender stated, "Trump people may theoretically have the power to take away your rights, but I have the power to make you wait 20 minutes to get your entree." And actually, there's one more. It says, Susanna Van Rooy, a server and manager at Buchard's Saloon on Capitol Hill, declared that she would not serve some Trump officials. What she said was, "It's not, oh, we hate Republicans," she said. "It's that this person has moral convictions that are strongly opposed to mine, and I don't feel comfortable serving them." So here's the interesting thing about something like that, right? It's one thing to, in your life, to say, okay, I don't want to associate with somebody because of X, Y, and Z. It's another thing when it's actually your job to serve, right? So what do you get paid for? Because at the end of the day, money makes money. And these owners and, regional managers and whatever the case is, they care about numbers. So it's not difficult to replace a waiter. It's not difficult to replace a manager either, because people are looking for jobs, like urgently, right now. And the business of like restaurant is like, it's very fast. One day you're there, you cannot be there, and then they'll have your replacement literally right there. So when it comes down to it, you know, you may say, oh, well, you go home and say, oh, I got fired because I didn't want to serve. I stood up for what I believed in, and I didn't want to serve somebody who believed something that I didn't believe. Okay. Then 2 months later, you're struggling to pay bills, and now you're like, oh, shit, you know, you're now the person known as the person who got fired because you didn't want to do the job that you're supposed to get paid for because of letting your personal feelings get involved, right? And I just found it pretty interesting that, you know, especially Americans, man, a lot of people feel very um, I don't even know what the word is, entitled to their feelings, that they forget how to think logically, right, and understand, just how life works. Life doesn't work around how you feel. Do you know how many people work jobs that they hate, serving people that they don't like, having to tolerate being so-called subordinate to somebody that's just a complete, messed up individual? But do you think they're there because they feel good when they're working? No, they're there because they went and did an interview or whatever the case is. They agreed upon the terms and conditions of the job, and they get paid for doing what it is that they're required to do. It's pretty much how it works, So if you don't want to do your job, then maybe that's probably not the best job for you to be working anyway, you know. So it's you got to think of it logically, right? Who's affected more? Okay, you give a customer a bad experience at your um store or restaurant, they go somewhere else. You know what that means? You lose money, right? You give a customer a bad experience, they report you, and it escalates. Once again, they go somewhere else. They probably get an apology from management or something. You get fired. So, who really has more to lose here? Once again, it's not what they're thinking about because it's about their feelings. Um, Boot Bouchard's later fired Van Roy. Isn't that interesting? Wow. Listen to this. Uh, so I didn't even like read this bottom part here, right? So that's just interesting. So the person who made this statement, which was a server and manager at this Bouchard's Saloon on Capitol Hill, assume this is a restaurant, they're the one who said they would not. They declared they would not serve Trump officials. They said, I'm gonna read it again. It's not, oh, we hate Republicans, she said. It's that this person has moral convictions that are strongly opposed to mine, and I don't feel comfortable serving them. Then it says Bouchard's, the name of I guess, the restaurant here. They later fired this person here. So it's pretty much just like I was saying, man. Like, you don't get hired as a server to serve people you feel like serving. You get hired to serve who you have to serve so the business can make money. And then that's how you can get paid. So and wow, how smart it was to announce openly that you would be basically not doing your job because of how you feel. What do you think the management of that place is, or what do you think they're going to say? Because a statement like that from an employee starts to ruin their reputation, right? Because they may say, oh, shoot, um, if we don't do something about this, people are going to think that we as a company are aligned with this, and then we're going to start to lose customers. See? So once again, not the, you know, probably not the smartest thing to have done, risking your job, especially in these times, in these conditions. Once again, that's that American mindset. This campaign of hate is all too familiar to conservatives. Many remember when White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her family were kicked out of the Red Hen restaurant in Lexington, Virginia, as others were denied service or chased from restaurants. Democratic members like Representative Maxine Waters D-CA supported such harassment. Now let's see. Just want to get the point here. Oh, so now there's also this other part here where they're saying Biden is now reportedly moving to veto a bipartisan bill to relieve pressure on the overwhelmed court system. Basically, they're saying Biden has threatened to veto this bill that would allow more judges to be appointed because the current set are being overwhelmed with cases. And that's let me read the statistics here. It says in 2004, the number of cases in district court pending for more than 3 years was 18,280. This year, there are 81,619. If justice delayed is justice denied, our court system is becoming a tar pit of injustice, with litigants left without verdicts or relief for years. See, so once again, it'll be basically if Biden is saying kind of like, I don't want you to appoint judges in here, right? Because you're going to do it in your favor. So I'm going to block it so you can, and I think it's for the next like 10 years or so. You can't appoint new judges in here. So it's all around the block, as they say, madness going on, right? It says here, it seems the joy, bipartisanship, and civility have all expired like last year's eggnog. Even Disney's new Snow White seems to have taken the cue from the evil queen and treated this election as a blast of wind to my fan hate, quote unquote. So all this is just, once again, it's culminating to a boiling point. And there will be a boiling point where there's a clash, there's an explosion, there's a trigger that then blows over into something more and something worse. Now, real quick, I want to get this here. This is Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptians, or the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Now, right, we understand that in Isaiah 19, being a prophecy concerning America, when it speaks about Egypt and the Egyptians, it's really talking about America and its inhabitants. Okay, so the Lord setting the Egyptians against the Egyptians will be, for many reasons, modern day is called a civil war. But one of the main reasons is going to be political divide, as you're seeing. So like I said, it's only going to escalate until it hits a boiling point. And at that point, it's going to be a wild ride for America from there. But I just thought this was a pretty interesting article, that this is where they're going with. So, like I said, come Inauguration Day, come, next year, we'll see what ends up happening. But Lord willing, that was edifying and informative to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.